Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together in what we call the boot camp, sometimes called the sanctuary, allowing us to exercise for the health of our physical body as well as the health of our mental body or spiritual body. So last week I mentioned the monks that are now more than halfway between Texas and Washington, D.C. And I talk about how they remind me of the Shambhala warriors, a Tibetan legends that says that these enlightened beings are normally practicing deep in the Himalayas. But when the time comes when the world needs their salvation, they would appear. And they would appear among us, and they would appear with their weapons, which on one hand is the wisdom, and then on the other hand is their compassion. So I'm sure many of you follow these monks as they walk, and I believe they're now in South Carolina. And one thing that strikes me is that they do walk like warriors. Even the dog Aloka, they walk with no fear of their inner demons. They have no fear of their inner demons. I remember I talked about this before. I remember there was a very famous story, or at least whether it's make up or real, I don't know. But it was in the church, and the priest was talking to his students, and he says, you know, when you were born, you're born with the demon on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And one of the followers says, so, Father, which one would consume me? And the father says, well, whichever one you feed. So if you feed your fear, your division, your anxiety, your all those negativity, then the demon will consume you. On the other hand, if you feed your compassion, your loving kindness, your sense of equality, empathy, and equanimity, then the angel will become you. And that's what we're trying to do here, and that's what these monks have accomplished. They're totally unafraid of the inner demons. And they do that in a very simple way. So if you listen to the head monk, his name, by the way, in English, it would be, say, Pana Kara. In Pali, it would be Panya Kara. And Panya is, in fact, wisdom, is the divine wisdom. And Kara is someone who's practicing his wisdom. So it's very fitting. And what he says is that the source of all your suffering, the root cause of all your suffering, is multitasking. Multitasking is very simple. Your mind can only do one thing at a time. If you're not on the side of the angel, you're on the side of your demon. It's just that simple. So that's why mindfulness is very important. And I call mindfulness anchoring because it reminds me of the story that I told many times here. I came to the United States with my family in June 16, 1971, from Macau, a Portuguese colony on the south side of the Pearl Delta. And because it was just a fishing village, basically, we had to cross the Delta to Hong Kong, which was the biggest city. And then we took the plane to San Francisco. And we took a ferry. Well, it's bigger than a ferry. Actually a diesel power boat that housed about 150 people, but it's a very slow boat. And it takes overnight basically to cross the Delta, which is only like 60 miles. And we took that. After we arrived in 2 months, it turns out that there was a typhoon, a level 10 typhoon, the highest possible typhoon. And the same ferry was trying to make it back to Macau, and the water was too rough. The wind was too strong. So they parked near a big island, but they can't park there because then they would hit the rock. So they do what all of them do. They throw the anchor. An anchor is something that all fishing vessel carry, but they don't use it when they are at sea, and they don't use it when they dock. They use it in the middle of a storm. And so this ferry threw an anchor, hoping that they can ride through the storm. Unfortunately, the anchor broke, the chain broke, and they drift into the storm, and all but 10 people died. They couldn't even find the body. So that to me is mindfulness, that we have to anchor our mind on a body when we move. We have to anchor our mind on the breath when it's stationary, whether we're sitting, standing, or lying down. If you don't do that, then you will be on the side of the demon. But if you don't want your demon and you want to be like a warrior where you're not afraid your own inner demon and you want to be on the side of the angel, then you have to anchor your mind. Don't let it adrift. So today we're going to be practicing one of the 8 branches of the traditional yogic practice called pranayama, the practice of breathing, but particularly breathing with the diaphragm within the abdomen. Now, this exercise is a very important longevity exercise. It basically cycles you through the energetic or the sympathetic or the fight or flight and back to the parasympathetic, the rest and digest. But it also enhances the life energy with you. I talk about the 5 elements. And so one of the things that we want to do is we want to clear the channels, clear the energy channels, because it actually goes to our extremities, whether they're the fingers or the toes. And there are 6 joints that we have to do. The wrist, I want you to feel your wrist. The elbow, I want you to feel your elbow. And your shoulder, I want you to feel your shoulder. And then later on, when we get down on the floor, we would work on the equivalent of the shoulder, which is the hip, the equivalent of the elbow, which is the knee, and finally, the equivalent of the wrist would be the heel. So I want you to come back to your body. I want you to focus on your lower back. I want you to do this one exercise that I'd like you to repeat throughout the day, which is to stretch a spine. Now, as we all know, as we age, we shrink, right? I used to be taller than my son, and now I'm the same height as he is. Not that he has grown, he hasn't grown in probably 10 years. It's because I shrink. And when you shrink, you're actually reducing the volume inside your spine. The inside your spine is a factory for your bone marrow. And your bone marrow is the building block for both your red blood cell and your white blood cell. So as you shrink, you're reducing the volume, and therefore you're losing your vitality as well as your immunity. So one of the exercises I want you to do throughout the day, as soon as you remember, is to stretch the spine. And by stretching, you're actually reversing the oxidation. I want you to locate the very bottom of your spine. Now I want you to walk up that spine very slowly, very mindfully, as if you're going from one joint to the other. And as you go from one joint to the other, I want you to stretch your spine towards the ceiling as if you're relieving the stress between your joint, as if you're increasing the distance between your joint. And I want you to do that one at a time as you move from the bottom of your spine to the very top of your head. You stretch your spine until it hurts. Then you lean back. I want you to feel the difference as you lean back. And then I want you to relax. I want you to feel the lightness in you as you stretch and lean back. because now you're putting the weight of your upper torso on your spine and not using any of your back muscle. Now I want you to focus on the top of your shoulder and bring up the shoulder. Bring up the entire upper torso as high as you can, as if you're bringing the shoulder to your ears. And then I want you to open the shoulder as far back as you can, as if you're squeezing a tennis ball. And then I want you to drop the shoulder and relax. Okay? So this is the sequence exercise I want you to do throughout the day to reverse your aging by reversing the oxidation on your spine, by restoring the volume with which your immunity and your vitality relies on, where the marrows are generated. Now, the marrow is also important for your neurological health because in Chinese, they think that the brain is, in fact, the sea of your marrow. The Chinese actually believe that all that comes from your energy, your water element. The water element is the kidney energy. It is, in fact, starting from the kidney, the essence of the kidney, go up the spine, and then on top of the head. So all this is very good. Now that you have done that, I want you to start thinking about the next set of exercise, which are the joint exercise. But here, we're not just doing physical exercise, we do also mental exercise. Think about the monks who are walking. At least 3 of them are walking barefoot. Well, 4, including Aloka. And the question is, how did they do that? How did they walk thousands of miles on barefoot through all kinds of terrain, sometimes through rocks? How did they do that? Well, it's because it is their practice. They're practicing the 4 foundation of mindfulness, one of which has to do with the sensation. And when they sense pain, they feel it, they accept it, and then they let it go. They confront the pain the same way that they confront the inner demon. They feel it, they accept it, and then they let it go. One step at a time. They don't let the pain become the suffering. They don't get attached to it. They don't reject it. So we're going to be doing the next exercise with this in mind. Now I want you to focus on the center of your palm, mind, body together. Now I want you to bring up your hands with your mind anchor on the center of your palm. I want you to bring it up all the way to your shoulder. Now I want you to turn your wrist. I want you to turn it very slowly. I want you to turn it with understanding that, like everything else, there is a beginning and an end. And the end is the beginning of another beginning, just like life. Life has a beginning and an end. But just because your physical body disappear, or more like being returned to the environment, to the earth where you borrow every single cell in your body, your spiritual being doesn't disappear. Every end becomes a beginning. And I want you to experience this as you rotate your wrists. In the beginning, and then there's the end. And the end becomes the beginning of another beginning. Now I want you to turn your wrist the other way. And I want you to practice something called parami or paramita. And one of the parami is called determination parami. And this is what the monks do. Every step, every beginning of the step, they practice the determination parami, which is I'm going to be focusing on my wrists or the bottom of my feet, and I'm going to stay focused, stay anchoring from the beginning to the end. That is the commitment. Just one step at a time, one breath at a time, one turn at a time. Now I want you to focus on the center of your palm again, bring it back down. Now I want you to stretch your spine, lift up your shoulder, lean back, open your shoulder, relax your shoulder, relax your spine. And then back to the hand, back to the center of your palm, bring that up, mind, body together. And then now we're going to turn the elbow, one turn at a time. Again, at the beginning, you practice your determination parami, which basically says that you're committed yourself. If you're not committed, don't do it. But once you start, you want to be committed from the beginning to the end. And then when you get to the end, I want you to practice another parami or paramita called diligence, which is, I'm going to do the next one at least as mindful as the first one. I don't ask for improvement, but I don't go back. And now we're going to turn the other way. From the beginning to the end, I want you to focus on your elbow and start to feel the change in your elbow. See if there's any heat, any sweat, any numbness, any pain. Whatever it is, just feel it. Now I want you to bring down your hand. Back to the spine again. Stretch the spine, lift up the shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, and then relax the shoulder, relax the spine. Now we get to the shoulder. I want you to focus on the center of your palm. Bring up your hand. Cross your hand this time. Bring it up in front of you. Bring it on top of you. Now I want you to point all your fingers towards the ceiling. I want you to stretch your body as hard as you can. Now I want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Open your hand, palm facing forward, turning the wrist 90 degrees, and then open the shoulder and feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm. If you're not on the side of your positivity, you are on the side of the negativity. There is no other choice. Follow your hand. Bring it in front of you. Bring it on top of you. Stretch. Point the palm outward. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Bring it up. Stretch. Open. Relax. We're going to do it one more time. Follow the center of your palm. Bring it on top of you. Stretch. Open your palm. Facing outward. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Now we're going to do it the other way. Open that shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open the shoulder. Stretch. Bring it back down. One more time. Open the shoulder. Stretch. And then bring it back down. Now we're going to do front and back. Okay. Now we're really going to be focusing on the shoulder this time. Okay. Completely focused. Now remember, now there's always a beginning and an end. Beginning is determination. The end is diligence. Okay. This is the practice of the warrior. Now sit up straight, lift up your shoulder, lean back, relax. Focus on the center of your palm, bring it up very slowly, very mindfully. Bring it on top of you. Now open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Come back. The pain is already gone. If you hang on to the pain becomes suffering. Feel the pain. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Confront that pain. Don't be afraid of it. Confront it. Feel it. Accept it. And then let it go. We're going to do one more time. Follow the hand. Always anchor your mind on your hand. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain. Accept that pain. And then let go of the pain. Now sit up straight. Hands in the back. Stretch. Bring it back down. Hands in the back. Bring it up. Stretch. Bring it back down. Hands in the back one last time. Stretch. And then bring it back down. Now, we actually been meditating. It's been 20 minutes. We've been meditating. In the beginning, you're meditating on my voice. We meditate on the body, particularly the joints. Okay? We always meditate. I woke up at around 5:45 this morning. I have not stopped meditating. It's just that I meditate on my body. I stay anchored on my body, whether I am making breakfast or eating breakfast or listening to my meditation music, right? Always meditate, always meditate, always anchor your mind. If you're not on the side of the angel, you're on the side of the demon. It's just that simple. Multitasking is the root cause of our suffering. That's why we're learning this. Okay? That's why we're practicing this. Now, we're moving from a dynamic form, exercising, to the stationary form, which is sitting. But standing and lying down are also stationary. And so just remember this. When you're moving, whether you're walking or exercising or in the kitchen or in the backyard, gardening, whatever, when your body moves, you anchor your mind on your body. When your body does not move, you anchor on your breath. Now, before we anchor, we do what's called knowing. Before we do anything, let's come back to the body, stretch, lift up, lean back, open, and then relax. Now we're going to focus on the breath. I just want you to feel your breath. Now, most of us don't even know that we're breathing. We just say, okay, the body breathes, right? I love it when the venerable talks about wisdom, and he says the opposite of wisdom is ignorance, and ignorance starts with ignoring. You ignore even your own existence. Let's not worry about your spiritual existence or your emotional existence, all that. Just your physical existence you've been ignoring. So let's not ignore it. Let's just pay attention to our breath. I feel that I'm breathing in. I feel that I'm breathing out. Let's focus on the first part, which is knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. Just say to yourself, whispering to yourself, I know I'm breathing out. It's just that simple. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, breathing is a very, very interesting biological function, right? Most of our biological functions, we don't require any brain functions. It just happens, like when you're eating, when you're swallowing, right? When you're walking, when you're lifting your arm, you don't even have to think about it. And then there are other things where you actually have to think about it. And then breathing is one of those, I think it's the only one actually, where if you don't think about it, it breathes on its own. But then you can actually think about it and try to manage it. In fact, breath is the bridge between your body, your physical existence, and your spiritual existence. So whenever you're under stress, whenever you're under stress, first what you do is you stretch, you lift up, you lean back, you open, and then you relax. Put the body back to this chronological form where your yang energy is traveling on your spine, feeding your brain, keep it clear, and you're opening your lung channel, your mineral channel, so that the energy, the breath that you take, which goes in the lung, can actually now distribute to the rest of the body. Those two things that you do, stretch your spine, open your shoulder, rejuvenates you, take you away from that stress state. Then the next thing you want to do after that, quickly come to your breath. Just whispering yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. And when you're under a lot of stress, your breath is very rush, very ups and down like that. And then, but once you pay attention, you're calming yourself by calming your breath. The breath is a very wonderful thing. All right. Okay, so we're going to continue with three more exercise. So these exercises are the basic exercise in the Shaolin Temple taught by my master. In a way, you can think of them as the basic training for the warrior. And the first one is called two blades, double blades. And it's continue with the shoulder, but switching between the left brain and the right brain. And I mentioned how this is actually a very good way to manage your pain, especially your mental pain, right? And if you're under a lot of stress, you're feeling a lot of anxiety, and the source of the anxiety is emotional, then it's best that you deal with it in a rational way, and vice versa. And that's really like switching between the brain. So we're going to practice this. Stretch, open, lean back, and then relax. Left hand in front, right hand. Now we're going to focus on the right side, which means that we're using a left brain. We're going to bring a hand in front, nice big circle following the center of your palm. And then now we're going to open that shoulder as far back as we can. We're going to feel that pain on the right shoulder. And then we're going to accept the pain as the pain goes away. And then we're going to switch to the right brain, letting it go. And then we're going to bring the left hand. We're going to open that. We're going to confront that pain. We're going to accept that pain. And then we're going to let go of the pain by switching. Right hand, open it, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Let it go. Switching from to the right brain. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Two more times. Right hand, left brain, let it go. Left hand, right brain, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Now come back to the stationary, which means focusing on a breath. Anchoring our mind on the breath and start to say, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. One breath at a time. Okay? Now, this is very important. Whenever you do an energetic exercise, which means that you are in the fight or flight, where your body actually creates stress hormone, cortisol, which is a form of steroid, its purpose is to reduce inflammation. But as soon as you finish that energetic exercise, you got to give it equal time to say, I want to restore, right? So you go from energetic to restore. What do you restore? You're basically restoring the sensitivity to the stress hormone. And that's the biggest problem we have now in modern days is that we're constantly in fight or flight, which means that our body is overwhelmed with stress hormone to a point where we develop resistance. So we can no longer heal ourselves. We develop all kinds of problems: stroke, diabetes, dementia, you name it, even skin disease, autoimmune. It's all because of the simple idea that we lost the ability to heal ourselves. Healing is with the stress hormone, but too much is not a good thing, right? So that's why it's just a balance. It's that simple. Learning how to go back to the rest and digest, right? That's all. All right, so we continue. And again, we're doing an energetic exercise. So stretch, lift up, lean back, open, relax. We're going to take up a right hand. We're going to focus on the fist. Now, I want you to follow the fist. Get ready? Up. Feel the vibration coming back to your shoulder. Action equal to reaction. Up. Feel your vibration. Down, down, up, up, down, down. One more time. Up, up, down, down. Now, two hands. Open your shoulder. Follow both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now come back to your breath. I know I'm breathing in. You can immediately feel how you're calming down. One of the ways that you know that you're in rest and digest is the inside of your mouth, right? It's the inside of your mouth. Now, most people don't think about where the saliva comes from. The saliva comes from the saliva gland. But where's the saliva gland? The saliva gland is actually inside your tongue, right? The tongue is like a sponge. It actually, there's enzyme that comes out from the center of your tongue, and that saliva is very important for our digestion and our immunity and our reproduction. Now, our body is developed in such a way that when you're under stress, it turns off your reproduction, your digestion, and your immunity because you're being attacked, right? So that's why when you're under stress, your mouth is dry. Well, in the West, we suggest you drink lots of water. I've seen people carry this much water with their hand. It's kind of crazy, funny. But our body is designed so that after you're under stress, you come back to the rest and digest to reactivate the saliva gland. You're supposed to self hydrate, right? So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Come back, focus on your breath, and just anchor your mind on your breath. Start with knowing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. And all this time, feel the inside your mouth. Now, you notice that I've been with you for how long? We started at what time? 7:30, right? Now it's 8 o'clock. Half an hour. I haven't stopped talking, right? I haven't stopped moving. But yet, I'm trying to keep up with my sliver. Because when I tell you to anchor your mind on your body, I'm the first one who's doing it. And when I tell you that you should anchor your mind on the breath, I'm the first one doing it, right? I'm doing exactly what I said. Okay, so now the next exercise really put us into the rest and digest by starting with a vagus nerve, which is the back of the ear, all the way down to the inside. So it combines the simple exercise with the shoulder, with the spine, with the breath, particularly breathing with the diaphragm. So if you want to learn how to go back to breathing with your diaphragm, you first have to learn how to relax. Diaphragm is a very interesting material. Back in the days when I teach engineering, it's called viscoelastic. It's not just that it's elastic, it's rate dependent. So if you are very stressful, uh, um, it becomes stiff, and so you need to be very relaxed. That's why babies, when they were born, if you notice, they breathe with the abdomen, the stomach. They breathe the diaphragm. Animals typically breathe with the diaphragms too, right? If you have pets, pay attention, right? They breathe just like the babies. It's just that humans, we especially modern humans, we accumulate stress, and then instead of breathing with the diaphragm, we breathe through this part of the shoulder. That's why this exercise is that important. It actually relaxes your shoulder muscle, which you've been overusing, right? All right. So this exercise is very simple, but you just have to follow, and you have to stay focused. No multitasking, but then you have to relax. So focus and relax at the same time, kind of an interesting balance. All right, so back to the spine, stretch the spine, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Now put your thumb in front of the shoulder, roll up the four fingers. Now focus on your elbow. The elbow is like the orchestra, like the rest of the body is like the pieces of the orchestra. The elbow is like the conductor. Okay, now follow your conductor, follow your elbow. Lift up your elbow so the shoulders up, your spine is up, everything's up, as if you're bringing your elbow and your shoulder to your ear level. One. Two, continue to follow the elbow. You point your elbow back, you open your shoulder, you squeeze that tennis ball in the back. Two. Three is when you drop your elbow, everybody relax. And then four is when you point your elbow forward, you're looking straight down. Now, from 4 to 1, we lift up your elbow. Now you're looking straight ahead. And then as you follow the elbow, you open your shoulder, you're looking slightly at the ceiling. And then as you point your elbow down, you start to turn downward, looking at the ceiling again with the elbow pointing forward. Now I want you to relax. As you bring up your elbow, I want you to close your mouth, close your eyes, and then just take a very gentle breath in until you open your shoulder. And then as you drop your shoulder, you lean forward. I want you to breathe out until your elbow is pointing out. Okay, you ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. Excuse me. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Focus, but relax at the same time. Breathe in. No multitasking, no expectation. You don't look at me, I don't look at you. I just feel my body as I go through the exercise. I feel my breath, I feel my joints. One last time. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Okay. Now we're ready for some sitting meditation. Huh? And then after sitting meditation, we're going to do some more exercise. Then we're going to get down on the floor and start to do pranayama. All right. So before we do anything, we're going to find the proper sitting procedure, posture. And basically, you divide your body into 7 parts. The first are your legs, right? We sit like the bell, which means that the legs are like the pedestal to the rest of the body, which is like the bell. If you sit on a chair, which I recommend, okay, you don't have to sit like I do. If you sit on the chair, make sure that the bottom of your feet is touching the ground, touching the floor. If your chair is too high, you won't be touching it. If your chair is too low, then your bottom of your feet will be either in front of your knee or behind, which means that you're bending your knee. So just find the right height of chair where you're not dangling your feet or you're not putting pressure on your feet. Just plant the bottom of your feet firmly on the ground. If you sit on the chair, it's best that you don't lean back and use the back of the chair. But if you must, and you have a back problem, then try to put a pillow right in the middle of your back so you give yourself some support. But then if you have to actually lean to the back of the chair, that's fine too, right? Many of the students here actually have to sit on the chair. That's fine. If you sit like I do, you can do all kinds of things. You can cross your legs, lotus, half lotus, whatever you want to do is fine too. Just so that you're not you're actually putting the weight on your mat, right? So if you need to, you put pillows and blankets. All right. So that's part 1. Part 2 are the hands. Now, many of you are accustomed to doing what we call the hand gesture, the mudra. It's really not needed here because what we want you to do is to be completely relaxed. Anything that you do with your hands and your feet require your thinking mind, and that's what we're trying to get away from. Don't We're trying to get away from relying 100% on the intellect because there's a much more to intelligence than just the intellect. So just relax. Now, finally, we get to best friend, a spine. So you know what to do now. Stretch the spine as if you're hanging your spine on the ceiling. Your spine is like the clapper inside the bell. And then you want to lean back and then relax. Now lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, and then relax. All right. So then the remaining 3 parts has to do with your forehead. I want you to focus on your forehead and just lean back. So your ears on top of your shoulder. You feel lightness again because you're putting the weight of your head on top of your spine and not using your neck muscle. Now I want you to tuck in your chin slightly so the top of the head is on top of your central nerve system. Finally, we get to an eyelid. Some people meditate with open eyes. Some people meditate with eyes completely shut. Here, I just want you to meditate with the eyes relaxed. Now, the Chinese, they call the eyelid the drape to the window. So you close your eyes, you relax your eyelid as if you're lowering your drapes, but you don't shut it tight, just relax. So sometimes you actually see a little bit of light coming through your eyelashes. That's perfect. Finally, we get to the tongue. Now, when we sit, we want to be completely in the rest and digest mode, we want to turn on our salivary gland. So the way to do that is to close your mouth and then take the tip of your tongue and put it behind your teeth, right where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth, and just rest it there. Immediately you feel some wetness inside your mouth. It does something else. Once you have saliva in your mouth, it just very logically let that saliva flows into your stomach and not your lung, so you don't choke on it. I don't know if you ever been to meditations where people spend hours meditating. Very often people will cough because they're choking on the saliva. So this way you prevent that from happening. And finally, we talked about this in the past. It is actually a conductive path. We'll come to that in a minute. Now I want you to start on your breath, again, starting with knowing. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now I want you to put your mind on your stomach, anchor your mind on your belly button. When you know that you're breathing in, I just want you to relax the stomach as if you're bringing your belly button forward. And then when you feel that you're breathing out, I want you to bring back, collapse bring in your stomach as if you're bringing the belly button towards your back. Now, you don't actually have to do it, because if you do it, that's expectation again. That's the source of your stress. So instead, just use your mind. Whether the body follows or not is not your business. Just use your mind. When you breathe in, relax. Use your mind to bring the belly button forward. When you breathe in, and then when you breathe out, bring back the stomach by bringing the belly button back. And then eventually this body will follow. And that's the trick. Focus and relax at the same time. Let's sit for 3 minutes doing this very basic exercise, exercising our diaphragm when we breathe in, exercising our diaphragm when we breathe out. Now, if you don't feel it, it's okay. Just relax, because we're going to be doing that more exercise when we get down on the floor, okay? Just relax. It's okay if we don't feel it, okay? Because it needs practice. We're gonna be doing more of that. But just what you find is that as soon as you relax, the body actually likes to return back to the diaphragm, returns back to the stomach when you breathe in and breathe out, because that's muscle memory. That's how we used to be, right? And it's just that over time, as we survive in this modern world, we're getting more and more stressful, and we're going from here to here, right? All right. So now we continue with the practice, and this time we're going to let go of the belly button and just feel your breath. And you might actually feel that when you breathe in, the stomach opens by itself, very slightly maybe. And then when you breathe out, it collapses slightly. Breathe in, stomach opens on its own. Breathe out, stomach collapses on its own. Now we're going to circulate this energy that we generate in our lower stomach by circulating it through what is a guardian vessel, which is a spine. And then the other one is, I forgot what it's called in English. I want you to focus on the bottom of your spine. As you breathe in, move from the bottom of your spine towards the top of your head. Stretch your spine as you go up. And then as you breathe out, start from the top of your head to your forehead, to your nose, through your tongue, go all the way down to your belly button and lean back and relax. Breathe in, stretch from the bottom of your spine to the top of your head. Breathe out, back to the belly button, lean back and relax. Now remember what I said, that everything is in circle. Your breath has a beginning and then an end. When you breathe in, that's the beginning. And then at the very end, when you finish breathing out, that is the end. But the end is the beginning of another beginning. So you follow your breath again. And then you follow it back. Now, at the beginning of that cycle, you practice your determination. So you said to yourself, where's my mind? Oh, the mind is out there playing with my inner demons again. Well, bring it back. Your mind can only be one place at a time, so bring it back. Focus on the lower part of your spine. That's your determination parami. And then as you move up, you continue to practice your determination. Stay focused. And then when you get back to the belly button, that's the end of a cycle. That's when you practice your diligence and you says, let's do it again. One breath at a time. Okay, let's sit for another 3 minutes and we're going to do some more exercise. Okay, open your eyes. All right, we're going to do some exercise. All right, so you notice that we alternate between the energetic and the restorative. Now, today is more restorative, it's more on the yin side. And then last week and the week after is more on the energetic, right? But still, each day we maintain that balance. So we're going to come back and do more energetic exercise. So as we age, we all know three kinds of exercise we need to do: stretching, muscle building or retention, and then finally cardio, right? But it's just that here we do cardio, but not in the way you think, right? We're just um, really we use it. We use the chi, the life energy. We don't ask you to run around the box, right? Okay. All right. So we're gonna do some more stretching, particularly stretching of the part that is facing the sun. The part that is facing the sun is your back. That's a very important part. That's the meridians that we name after the bladder, as well as the spine, which is what we call the guardian channel. And then the back of the hand is the triple warmer, the small intestine, the large intestine, right? All those are very important. And then also on the lower part of your body. So we're going to do some stretching, right? So if you want to think about the eight limbs of yoga, we have later on what we call the pranayama, the exercise of the breath. And here's what we call the asana. Now, in the US, we are practicing a particular kind of asana, what we call hatha yoga, right? So you need to understand that you need to maintain curiosity. Remember, I talked about openness, right? Open to your learning, open your curiosity. There's no better way to learn these days by using your AI tool. You can download, I use Gemini from Google, but there are others. And it's a great way to learn, right? Okay, so let's sit straight, stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, open a shoulder, lean back, and then relax. We're going to do 3 deep breaths and also stretching the outside of our arm. And we're going to lock our fingers, put that in front of the belly button. We're going to follow the center of the palm as we breathe in. Okay, get ready. Relax. Breathe in. Flip your hands, follow the center of your palm, breathe out. Lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. Lock your elbow, okay? Unlock your fingers, palm facing forward as if you're climbing the mountain, using your shoulders, stretching your upper out, your arm. Back, relax. Second breath. Breathe out, follow. Lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. Back to the hand locking, palm facing up, palm facing down. Push down gently until you lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. Bring your palms in front of you, locking your elbow now. Bring it on top of you. Lean back slightly so you're forming a straight line between the center of your palm, the top of your head, and the bottom of your spine. And you push, stretching your spine, and then hold it and lean back. Come back to the middle, focus on the center of your palm, push, hold it, and then entire upper torso towards the left. You're stretching your spine, okay? Back to the middle, push, lean to the right, come back to the middle, push, lean to the left, locking your elbow, okay? Come back to the middle, push, one last time, lean to the right, come back to the middle, focus on the center of your palm, bring it back down, completely relax. Stretch your spine, open your shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Taking your right hand, put that on your left shoulder. Lean back, so you're putting pressure on your right shoulder. You take the left hand, you grab your right shoulder. You sit up straight, and then you stretch your spine to the left. You come back, you change hands now. Sit up straight, you're putting pressure on your left shoulder. You grab your left elbow, sit up straight, and you stretch your spine to the right. And then come back to your breath, restore. the harmony between your energetic, which is yang, and your restorative, which is yin, one breath at a time. Now sit up straight again, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Taking your left hand, palm facing up. Taking your right hand, put that between your fingers and your joint, your palm. Sit up straight, bring that left hand down gently. Now focus on the elbow. Push out your elbow. Looking straight ahead, lock your elbow. Bring your hand up, putting a little pressure on your wrist. Palm facing forward. Sit up straight without turning your upper torso. Locking your left elbow. Bring your left hand to the right, stretching the outside of your shoulder, and then relax. Now take the right hand, sit up straight, bring it down, push your elbow, looking straight ahead, bring it up, a little bit of pressure on your wrist, palm facing forward, sit up straight without turning your upper torso, lock your elbow, bring your right hand to your left, and then back, relax. Once again, focus on the breath, restoring the harmony. Now sit up straight again, open that shoulder, right hand, right palm facing up, left hand, left palm facing down, open the shoulder. Now as if the sky has fallen on your right hand, I want you to push the sky up, all the way up, lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees, center the palm facing the sky. As if the earth has come up and you want to push it back down with your left hand again, wrist at 90 degrees, locking your elbow, palm facing down. Now I want you to take your right hand, lean back. Then I want you to turn your head to the left until you get to the shoulder, keeping all the elbows locked. And then I want you to keep turning your eyeball as if you're looking at your back. Then I want you to bring everything back and then relax. Now the other side, open your shoulder, left palm up, right palm down, left palm lean back, head to the right, eyes to the back, everything come back to the middle, and then relax. Now we're going to do some more stretching on your spine. Remember, the spine is the conduit for all your yang energy. It's also the place where you maintain your immunity and your vitality. So I want you to sit perfectly with your spine perfectly straight. Okay. Then I want you to take two hands, lock your fingers, put that in your lower back, palm facing up. Now I want you to turn so palm facing down, push until you lock your elbow. I want you to simultaneously focus on top of your head as well as the center of your palm. I want you to push your palm down and lift up your head, one up, one down, stretch the spine, stretch as hard as you can, and then relax. I want you to lean back the forehead so you're looking at the ceiling, and then lift up your arm, locking your elbow, and then relax. Back to the breath, restore that harmony. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now open the shoulders, sit up straight. Take your right hand, put that on your back. Lift up your head so you're looking straight ahead. And then I want you to take the right shoulder and stretch towards the ceiling and then relax. Take the other hand, again, sit up straight. Take the left shoulder and stretch towards the ceiling and then relax. Back to the breath. Okay, that's one thing that we do differently here is that we always give it equal time. Because the key is to maintain the harmony. The key is to let your body heal itself by releasing the self-healing capability. Okay, now stretch, open, lean back, relax. Take your right hand, the back of the hand at the lower back. Take two fingers, point to the left shoulder. I want you to bring your right shoulder down and your fingers up, and then relax. The other side, I want you to bring the left shoulder down and the fingers up, as high up as you can. Take the other hand, whatever you can do, touch your fingers. Now looking straight ahead, focus on both shoulders. Right shoulder up, left shoulder down, and then relax. Take the other hand, Whatever you can do. Left shoulder up and right shoulder down, and then relax back to the breath. One last exercise, what we call the reverse Buddha. Stretch, lift up, open, lean back, relax. Palm touching, fingers pointing down. Put that on your lower back. Turn your hands so that the fingers are pointing up. Keep it up, bring it up. Try to put the palms together, looking straight ahead. Open that shoulder and push your palm forward. One back, one forward. Maintain the pressure. Hold it. Focusing on your breath. And then relax. One breath at a time. Okay? All right. So now we're ready. But before we do the pranayama exercise, we need to continue with the joint exercise, right? So let's work on the, what is that called? The heel, no, the knee, yeah. Okay, ready? One, now very gently, okay? Some of you have bad knees. You might want to skip that, or at least do it very gently. 3, 4, and 5. Now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going from the knee to the heel, okay? So right heel, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to stand on the toes. This is actually a very important exercise. It has so much benefit. Okay, particularly it allows us to practice balancing. Okay, dementia starts with loss of balance. Dementia starts with not able to separate the left brain from the right brain. I didn't read that from a medical journal. I saw my father, right? Very scary. Now, we're going to practice this. Okay, we stand firmly on the ground. We're looking straight ahead, okay? Fear comes when you lose your ability to focus. When you don't focus, you're on the side of the demon. I am so sorry about that, okay? So you need to stay focused because that's the first thing that happens is fear. So looking straight ahead, anchor your eyesight in the front, and then stand on your toes, stay focused, and then come down, impact your heels gently, make sure you're on a soft surface, right? I didn't ask you to drop your body. I just asked you to lower it and then just gently impact the heel. Heel is the bladder energy line, okay? Now, second time, stay focused and then gently, okay? One last time, and then gently. Now we're going to continue to do some balance exercise. Put your hands on your hip, stand on your left foot, stay focused, lift up your right foot, and then kick with your heel. Get ready. 1, come back. Sorry. 2, come back. 3. Now stand on your right foot, lift up your left foot, stay focused. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Now to the hip. The hip is very important. When you fall, it's the only thing that restores the balance is the hip. Modern people, we're not good with the hip anymore, right? Unless you're a dancer. Okay, so now we stand on the right foot. Okay, now we bring back to the left foot, forming a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder, and we turn until we can't turn anymore, and we keep turning. And then we move back, and then we relax. Second time. And then we relax. Third time. And then we relax. Okay? All right. Bring it back. Turn. forward. Second time, turn, forward. Third time, and then relax, okay? So as we age, we lose balance, right? We're not using the brain properly. And when you lose balance, you have problem walking because walking requires balance. You're walking 1 foot at a time. There's no 2 foot walking, okay? So that's why we use cane, not to help the physical part of the body, but to help the mental part of the body. And so how do you prevent yourself from falling? How do you reduce your chance of falling? Because falling is very bad as you age. You know that. Because when you fall, you lose mobility, and then you have no more chi because your body's not moving. Okay. So how do you prevent yourself from falling? Well, you keep your joints flexible, especially the hip. Okay, and you stay mentally clear. And as you walk, you focus on the bottom of your feet. This is something you have to practice, right? This is very important. All right, so we're ready, huh? Okay. All right. Now, just keep in mind that this is a meditation. It's what I call mindfulness in motion. You stay focused on the center of your palm, you bring it up, you follow the center of your palm, you bring it towards you, then you bring it down, you lower your knee, and then you relax, standing up. You breathe in all the way in, and then you breathe out all the way out. In, out. Breathe in again, breathe out. Okay, now this is just to practice mindfulness. Now the actual um, exercise starts now. When we breathe in, we cross a hand. This is the part. You breathe out, you don't stop. You don't stop all the way out, right? The idea is that you open your chest cage and you're still breathing out, which means that you're lifting up your diaphragm. It's just that simple. Okay, now breathe in, breathe out. Stay focused, breathe in, high enough so you can see it. Breathe out, follow with your back, your corner of your eye. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now we're going to do 1 minute of standing meditation. Now, if you could, you stand without locking your knee because what you want to do is you want to activate your second heart, your calf. Okay, but if you must lock your knee, that's fine. Okay, but the proper way is not to lock your knee, so you can use your fire element. Okay, 1 minute. Again, we're practicing determination at the beginning when we breathe in. We're practicing diligence at the end when we breathe out, after we breathe out. One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay. All right. Now, left foot forward. Lean back so the toes are pointing up and you're looking at the ceiling 45 degree. You bring your hands up high enough so you can see it with your corner of your eye. You follow the center of your palm as you roll your body forward. Try not to hunch, okay? And then you open. As you move forward, you breathe in gently. As you move back, you breathe out. You don't stop. You don't stop. You breathe out all the way to the end. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, some of you might say, well, what is it talking about? Don't stop breathing out. I don't have any more breath. Well, guess what? As you practice, you will have more breath. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, lower your hand. Go from your hand to your bottom of your feet. One step, two step, 1 minute of standing meditation. Okay, now to the left. Get ready. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Now, when you breathe in, you just let it breathe in on its own because you already move your diaphragm as you breathe out. By so you just relax, let the diaphragm restore itself. That's how you breathe in, right? If you try to breathe in with force, you hyperventilate and then relax. Breathe out and then relax. It will do its own breathing. Breathe out and breathe in. Okay, back to standing, right? Challenge yourself, right? In the beginning of each cycle, as you breathe in, check your mind, anchor your mind on your breath, and say, this is determination. This is commitment. And then when you finish with one cycle, the end becomes the beginning. You say, I'm going to do the next one just as good as the first one. Okay, now to the third form, which is what we call the butterfly. So you might need to adjust the feet so that gives you a little bit more support, but it's up to you, right? Find whatever works for you. Now, open that shoulder, relax, lean back, forehead, tuck in your chin. Looking straight ahead, focus on your palm, bring it up. And then bring it down, lower your knee, straight down, okay? Bring it back up, raise your heel, stand on your toes, focus on the center of your palm until the back of the hand is touching. Now, as you come down, breathe in gently. As you go up, you breathe out, don't stop, all the way out, all the way up. And then gently breathe in, breathe out. In, out. Close your mouth, okay? In, out. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. In, out. Lower your hand. Another 1 minute of standing meditation. Okay. Now the next one is called push hand. So again, right foot forward, but this time you don't lean back, you just stand. Now you will notice that this exercise actually requires movement of all 6 joints. The wrist together with the heel, the elbow together with the knee, and the shoulder together with the hip. The key here is not only do you stay focused, no multitasking, but no expectation. Just feel it. Now, the trick is you imagine that there's a water wheel and you're moving a hand on top of the water wheel down as you lower your left foot, and then you're looking straight ahead, see the center of the water wheel, and you push. As you bring up, you breathe in, you open your shoulder, you feel the chi, the air that comes down through your spine as if it's coming down the spine. You come down to the hip and you push as if you're pushing from the back of your hip. Okay. It's a very easy thing to do, but very difficult to actually feel the energy in you. Feel, breathe in, relax, breathe out. No expectation. Don't look at me. I'm not looking at you. I'm not even looking at myself. I'm just feeling. This is all about feeling, all about letting go of the intellect and using the rest of the intelligence, which is your spine, basically. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then back to the standing. Okay. Very often you will hear the professional athletes talk about the zone, right? They're just feeling it. And that's what we have to do here. Get in the zone. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. I remember Martha once says, one of your fellow student, Martha. Thank you, Martha. She said, I do it at half of the speed of what Denny does, which is fine. I do it in this speed because I got to keep you interest. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. Back to the standing. This is the last 1 minute standing meditation. Okay, this last one we only do 3 times. Very energetic. Has to do with adrenal gland, adrenal fatigue that we sometimes feel, that people are under a lot of stress. And the thing that happens when you're under a lot of stress and your adrenal gland finally give up is that when you actually need more stress hormone, whether it's adrenaline or cortisol, it doesn't react fast enough. And so when you move, you actually get a little bit lightheadedness because it cannot adjust to the change of gravity fast enough. So if you have that problem, put a chair next to you, okay? Now, we open the shoulder, relax. We take 2 hands, we take a deep breath in. Now you can raise it to your shoulder or you can raise it a little higher, it's up to you. And then as you breathe out, you open your knee, you breathe out all the way down. And then at the end, you push your back forward. And then you breathe in all the way in. And then you bend your back. And then you relax. Okay? A little bit difficult. So breathe out. Breathe in. Okay, one last time. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then relax. Walk back. Stay focused. Anchor on the bottom of your feet. 1 step, 2 step. Remember what I said, okay? Start practicing during the day. Whatever it is to do, just remember, anchor my mind, right? The anchor on the boat has no use. It's just additional weight. It's dead weight. But why do they carry it? They don't need it when they dock at the safety of the harbor. They don't need it when they're in the middle of the ocean. They would rather throw it overboard and not carry weight, but they do need it in a storm. That's what we need. Anchor our mind. Back to the sitting position. Focus on the breath. When we breathe in, we go from the bottom of our spine. We move up the spine to the top of the head. We stretch our spine. We breathe out. We come back down. We lean back and relax. Okay, now we're going to practice metta meditation. Metta means loving kindness. Okay, loving kindness. And the building blocks for loving kindness, compassion, empathy, and equanimity is gratitude and acceptance/forgiveness. So as we practice our breath, practice how we move from the bottom of the spine towards the top of the head, we feel a little bit of energy in us. According to the tradition, that energy comes from the air that we breathe in, which is the mineral element. We call that the mineral, no metal. That's the lung. The lung takes the oxygen, give it to the heart. The heart is a fire element. The heart takes the oxygen embedded into the red blood cell and travels all through our body. And according to the Chinese tradition, it goes into the water element, which is the kidney. The essence of the kidney energy is the marrow. So as you breathe in, you stretch your spine, you feel the energy rising in your spine. And then as you breathe out, you come back to the belly button and you relax. Now, these two simple acts, when you stretch your spine as you breathe in, and you lean back and relax as you breathe out, is the key to our practice. As you stretch your spine, you feel that life energy in you, and you ask yourself, where does that come from? Well, that comes from the oxygen that we breathe. Then you ask yourself, where does the oxygen come from? It comes from the trees in the park or in the forest. Who protects the tree? Well, not you, not I. We're doing our best to destroy it. It's all the other beings that share our habitat who's doing their very best to protect the trees in the forest so that they can supply this endless supply of oxygen. Oxygen that we breathe in that we didn't have to pay for. We can breathe as much as we want, irrespective of who we are and what we have done. I want you to feel a sense of gratitude as you breathe in, stretching your spine. Not only should we be grateful to all the other beings that we share our habitat with, let's be grateful to ourselves. Let's be grateful to our health. Let's be grateful to our family, our parents, our siblings, our spouse, or significant other. And if you have any, your children and grandchildren. They are what brings meaning to our existence. I want you to be grateful to your neighbors, even the one you just had an argument with. I want you to be grateful to all the first responders, those who are protecting us. I want you to be grateful to all the teachers who point the way. As you breathe in, you stretch your spine, you feel the energy in you, and you practice your gratitude. As you breathe out, you lean back, you relax, and you feel the lightness in your body. Why? Because you're letting go of your baggage. You're putting the weight of your upper torso on your spine, and you're not relying on your muscle. You're removing the hindrances. You're removing the baggage. That's why you feel the lightness in your body. But imagine how you would feel if you let go of the baggage in your mind. The baggage in your mind is all your memory. Some of them good memory, some of them bad memory. Bad memory that often are created by others. Bad memory that are often created by ourselves. Especially how we have dealt with death in a family. I carry with me the memory of my father. I carry with me all the guilt on how I wish I could have done it better, taking care of him. These are baggages. They are in the past. There is nothing we can do about it anymore. But yet we carry it every day, every minute. Maybe it's time for us to let go of that and feel the lightness in our mind. We do that by accepting ourselves as who we are, accepting our limitations, our inadequacy, not only accepting but forgiving. It's time to let go. Maybe in the past, because of our inadequacy, we might have hurt someone. We ask for their forgiveness. And likewise, people have done their part in hurting us. Maybe it's time for us to accept them as who they are and even forgive them. These are baggages that we can let go if we want to feel the lightness in our mind. If you could accept them and you can forgive them, maybe we can wish them well. I wish that I can remain healthy and remained happy and remained at peace. Like the variable said, today is going to be a peaceful day. Not only do I wish that for myself, I wish that for my family. I want them to be healthy, happy, and be at peace. I want that for my neighbors, for the people who live in my city, for the people who live in my county, for the people who live in my state, for the people who live in this country. And I said many times, even if they work for the wrong guy, I forgive them. I still wish them healthy, happy, and be at peace. We're going to chant the Metta Sutta. May all beings be free from animosity and negative energy. 願所有眾生能離遠一切敵意、一切負能量。Sabi Sata May all beings be free from mental suffering. 願所有眾生能遠離一切心靈嘅痛苦。Sabi Sataya Bhajantu. May all beings be free from physical suffering. 願所有眾生能遠離一切身體嘅痛苦。Sabi Sata Navahantu. May all beings be full of joy and be protected with positive energy. 願所有眾生能保持正能量，能夠得到身心嘅安樂。Sabi Sata Sukhi Haratano Puri Harandu. May all beings be happy, be healthy, and be peaceful. 願所有眾生能得到安穩同快樂。Sabi Sata Sukhi Hantu. Sabi Sata Suki Hantu Sabi Sata Sabi Hantu. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Namaste. OK，我哋星期一見，多謝大家支持。
Thank you，嘉琪師兄。
OK，多謝各位，多謝陳老師。OK，
多謝嘉琪師兄。
好，星期一見，拜拜。
OK，好。OK，拜拜。